Hi, I'm Chef Gail Sokol and welcome to my kitchen. Today we're thinking about late harvest and all the zucchini you might have from your garden. How many things can you make with zucchini? Well, I've heard of a lot of typical things, but have you ever heard of zucchini scones? So I'm going to be making a savory scone with smoked Gouda cheese, and I'm calling it a zucchini smoked Gouda scone. And it's amazing and tender and delicious. And it would be great as a side to a salad or soup. You could make it all winter long. And it would be great also as a brunch dish or just, on the table with a salad and dinner type of scone, or grab one for breakfast. So before we get started, and they're super easy, I'd like you to click that notification button so you can get all my videos and tips and become a subscriber, because I love having you in my kitchen. Okay, this is a scone and we're going to be using a pastry blender. So no machinery except me. I'm the machine. I'm the one that's using my muscle to make this. And this is basically a very, very easy, it's called the biscuit method of mixing. It's used for scones very frequently, or flaky pie crusts. So in a big bowl, I have 3 1/4 cups of all-purpose flour, and I have a lot of things to add. So this is going to be very, very, leavened very nicely and seasoned very nicely. So 3 tablespoons, you heard me correctly, 3 tablespoons of baking powder. I have 1 1/2 teaspoons of kosher salt, and I have a 1/2 teaspoon of freshly ground black pepper. Could be coarse, could be ground, whatever you like, finely ground, whatever you like, and 3 tablespoons of granulated sugar, just to give a hint of sweetness to our zucchini and our cheese. I'm going to put that in there. And usually you see me whisk my ingredients together, but I'm going to use my pastry blender. And if you don't have a pastry blender, you can also use your hands, or you can use a whisk. But when you're making a biscuit or a scone, which are really in the biscuit family, you really want to have what's known as a pastry blender to cut in your cold fat. And in this case, it's butter. 1 1/2 sticks of cubed, cold, unsalted butter. And I cut them in little 1/2-inch chunks. And I'm going to add them right now. And they're cold. And we're going to cut them in. And that's a typical phrase that we bakers use, and I'm sure you've heard it, and it's used in recipes to cut in the fat. So this is what's known as cutting in. This repetitive motion where you push the fat through the flour and other dry ingredients until the fat becomes pea-sized. You never want to completely blend it into the flour, because that fat is where you get flakiness and tenderness in your scone. So those little bits of fat are going to melt in the oven. They're going to be interspersed with the rest of the dough, and they're going to leave spaces. So the butter's going to melt into the dough. It's going to leave a space. And we're also using heavy cream, and any type of moisture-based or liquid water-based ingredient will cause steam to form. And that'll separate some layers. So you're going to end up with some nice flaky layers. Now I have preheated my oven to 350 degrees Fahrenheit. And these are going to bake about 30 to 40 minutes, but they're so easy. You could just throw these together. As quick as you can shred a zucchini, you can make these. And I love smoked Gouda. You can use any other cheese you like. Parmesan would work. Anything else that you like, but I love smoked Gouda. I just love it. And if you notice, I have it in a lot of my videos and a lot of my baked goods. So if you like smoked Gouda, I'm your gal. I love it. I love, love, love smoked Gouda cheese. All right, so I'm almost there, and you're going to push it through the pastry blender until you see these pea-sized pieces. All right. And I've also lined 2 sheet pans with parchment paper, and we're just about there. We're just about there. So I can show you, see the little bits of butter, like big size peas. There's a piece of butter, a little garden pea. Some are big, some are little, as long as they're not huge. We don't want them too big. So now I'm going to put the pastry blender down. Don't use it anymore because you'll mix things too much. So now what I'm going to do is add 1 cup of heavy cream. Yeah, this is a rich scone, very rich scone. So I'm going to add 1 cup of heavy cream. And I did put a little bit aside, not from the 1 cup, a little in addition. I put a little bit in a cup because we are going to sort of wash over our scones with a little heavy cream and then put some flaky sea salt on top. So I'm just going to gather this together with a large spoon. Again, do not overmix. Overmixing will cause gluten to form and toughness, and we don't want a tough scone. We want them nice and tender. We don't want it to taste like a pizza dough. We want it to be nice and light and tender. So this is our heavy cream blended in. And if you put your hands in, it's not totally there yet. It's not, it needs a little more moisture. Well, we're going to get it from the star of the show, zucchini. And what I did was I took 2 medium zucchini and I put them through a kitchen towel. I grated them first on the largest size of your grater. You can put them through your food processor and shred them as well. And then what I did was I put them in a nice clean kitchen towel. What I do is I grate them, lay the kitchen towel over a nice clean dry bowl, put the zucchini in and wring it out like you're wringing out a towel. And a lot of the water will come out of the zucchini because we don't want wet, sticky scones, but we do want a little of the moisture from that zucchini in here. So before we put those zucchini in, we're going to add, you guessed it, smoked Gouda. 1 cup of shredded smoked Gouda. Put that in there. Don't forget any of it. We love it. And I'm just going to sort of toss it in there. And then I'm going to add my zucchini. And the zucchini will add some moistness to it. So don't worry if you just don't want it to sit. Once you squeeze it out, it'll keep drawing water out of it. Water will keep coming out of it. So make sure that, because this is a pretty dry bowl, there's no more wetness in there. So I'm going to gently gather between my spoon and my hand. I'm going to gently get that zucchini and that Gouda into our scone. Okay. Really pretty colors. Green, and then you see like the tannish yellow from the smoked Gouda. Sort of cool. I like it. All right. Now what I'm going to do what I do, and a lot of people get alarmed, but they'll go, "What are you doing?" I'm going to pour this onto the cutting board, onto my marble slab, and I'm going to bring it together with my hands. All right. So we're just going to gently bring this together. All right. Not going to add any more liquid. The zucchini is providing enough. And you've seen me do this if you've watched my videos. I have a really easy biscuit recipe that is lovely. And I do the same thing. So we're just going to try to gather this up. And I'm going to take half because I want to make 12 scones if I can. 12. All right. So I'm going to put this over here, and I'm going to grab my tools, and I'm just going to, maybe you can't see that, I'm just going to shape it into a circle. Just going to rotate it. I don't want to add a lot of flour because I need that moistness, but I'm just going to gather into a circle. Everyone's going to be in the circle. And then I'm going to divide it with my dough scraper into 6. And then I'm going to take the other half and divide it into 6 scones. So they're going to be sort of typical scones. You know, they're usually wedge-shaped. The British scones can be wedge-shaped. You can also cut them out with a cookie cutter, whatever you want to do, but I'm going to do these as a wedge. So I'm just going to cut first in half, and you're going to cut right through. You can also use a sharp knife, all right? And then I'm just going to cut into thirds. So my zucchini smoked Gouda scones, as you can see, just came out of the oven. They are piping hot. They are cheesy. I can smell everything. The cheese. I can smell scones. Something special's in the air, and they look amazing. I would love to have this with a bowl of soup for dinner or lunch or a brunch. If you want to surprise people and you're invited to a brunch, this is it. This is a very creative way to use extra zucchini that you have from the garden. And who can say no to this? This is amazing. And smoked Gouda is an incredible cheese to use. It's my favorite. I hope you become a subscriber. I hope you try this recipe. Till next time.